Local hero stories. I've always thought that everybody around me got a better deal when it comes to superpowers. In the superhuman world, where everybody has their own unique superpower, I've always felt like the last kid to be picked at a middle school softball game. Take, for example, my classmate Rich. He could make money out of thin air. All he needs to do is open his mouth and say the number, and all this cash appears. At first, I was excited about Rich's power. After all, who wouldn't be impressed by the awesome bachelor pad and the never-ending stream of European sports cars? But to say that Rich has a positive effect on the community would be stretching it. Thanks to the combination of Rich's youth, impatience, and ability to mint money out of thin air, he has, as of this writing, bankrupted at least 4 countries' economies. It turns out that if you flood any economy with new cash, inflation breaks out. Too many pieces of paper with legal tender printed on them chasing too few goods leads to ever-increasing prices. Who knew? To say that Rich is popular or even wanted would be an understatement. Still, a part of me envies my friend Rich because the superpower that I have takes too much work. I'm gonna admit it. I have to hustle to unlock my superpower. I have to get sponsored for me to get a power that is related to what my sponsor does. Can you imagine how hard that is? I've been knocking down McDonald's corporate doors. No such luck. Don't even get me started about getting sponsorship from Kentucky Fried Chicken, Patagonia, or North Face. It seems that the only sponsors that I can manage to get are local businesses, and they don't have the budget for long-term sponsorships. Still, I'll take whatever I can get and make the most of it. My first sponsor was Hughes Fish and Chips. The annoying thing about my superpowers is that it's not very predictable. You would think that with a sponsor like Hughes Fish and Chips, I could at least whip out some amazing fish and matching French fries along with tartar sauce. At worst, maybe there has got to be some malt vinegar on the side. No such luck. When Hughes Fish and Chips sponsored me for a whopping 3 months, the superpower that I got was to conjure fish clouds in the sky. I know, right? Extremely practical. I suspect that the impact of my superpower to the betterment of humanity matches that of tits on a boar. Things didn't improve much with my next sponsor, a local barber, Hugo the Barber. While he can tell amazing stories from the small town in Greece where he is originally from, I was disappointed, really, when I got the sponsorship because I thought the superpower that I would get wouldn't do much to help people. I mean, what should I expect? I snap my fingers and all the guys all around me get a fade? Well, it turns out that the Hugo sponsorship was actually quite a good thing. I was surprised at the main effect this 3-month sponsorship got me. I would snap my finger, and every bald man within a 5-mile radius instantly sprouted a 1970s roadie hairstyle. They all looked like they came out of the musical Hair. As you can well imagine, this had an amazing effect on the bottom lines of all the barbers at my town. Hugo, in his thick Greek accent, can't thank me enough as I repeatedly snap my fingers as I drive from one end of the interstate after another. Of course, this has its limits. You can only take it so far because then I find myself near the border of the next city over, and it's the barbers in that city that get flooded by long lines of 70s mop tops. It turns out that there's a strict geographic limit to this superpower. Finally, when a crypto exchange based in our city sponsored me, I was totally unprepared for its effects. WPX Exchange is your typical plain vanilla crypto exchange. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and the other well-known crypto as well as newly minted, pretty scammy tokens. I gotta admit, I was completely unprepared for the effect of this 1-year sponsorship. When I snapped my finger, everybody started becoming a crypto millionaire. Seems that everybody's heads got filled up with all sorts of crypto ideas. Layer 2s, Web3, Metaverse, you name it. I found myself at a local Starbucks trying to enjoy a steaming mug of cappuccino only to be bombarded by this incessant and loud buzz of people talking in crypto jargon. You got to tie your token with an actual use case. Have you released your white paper yet? Maybe this tie-up with this fast-rising exchange will get my token the proper amount of exposure to venture capitalists, and on it goes. It seems like when I snap my finger, everybody becomes a crypto entrepreneur. I'm not quite sure what to make of this because on the one hand, a lot of the decentralized finance projects out there are just simply badly disguised Ponzi schemes. People need to invest in those just as much as they need a new hole in their heads. On the other hand, I am quite excited about interactive browsers where people process data and in exchange, they mine free crypto. It really is quite exciting, but I get this sneaking suspicion that a lot of this will lead to disappointment and heartbreak, much like the original gold rush in California during the late 1840s. Seems like the only people who truly got rich off the gold rush were people who didn't even mine gold. They were companies like Levi Strauss and others who provided supplies, and gear to the ones who actually got their hands dirty. Seeing this chaotic scene of everybody brimming with excitement about their latest and greatest crypto projects, tokens, and protocols, I can't help but share the heady sense of anticipation. But at the same time, the jaded adult in me knows that this isn't going to last. Still, all we have is the moment, and I snap my fingers again.